Chapter 5, A Broken Vow. Mia stumbled back into the apartment, the air thick with the ghosts of shared laughter and whispered promises. It felt alien, a stage set for a play that had abruptly closed. Every object seemed to mock her. The coffee mug still paired on the counter, the worn armchair where they'd spent countless evenings reading aloud, the framed photos on the wall, their smiles frozen in a happiness that now felt like a cruel illusion. She moved through the rooms in a daze, a mechanical puppet guided by muscle memory. Her hands shook as she opened the closet, pulling out a suitcase. Each item she packed, a favorite sweater, a well-worn book, a small framed picture of her and Chloe, felt heavy with the weight of what she was leaving behind. Happy memories intertwined with the searing pain of Alex's betrayal, creating a nauseating cocktail of nostalgia and bitterness. She remembered buying Alex that sweater, the one he wore every Sunday. She remembered him reading to her as she lay sick in bed. She remembered his smile and the photo she held. Now they were all tainted. A sob escaped her lips, a strangled sound that echoed in the empty apartment. She sank onto the bed, the mattress dipping under her weight, and allowed herself a moment to grieve. Not just for the loss of Alex, but for the loss of the future they had so carefully planned. The marriage, the children, the shared business, all gone, like sand washed away by a relentless tide. Meanwhile, across town, Alex sat staring at his phone, his heart pounding against his ribs. The silence in his apartment was deafening, broken only by the rhythmic tick of the clock, a constant reminder of the time slipping away. He knew he had made a terrible mistake. The freedom he had craved now felt like an unbearable weight, crushing him with its emptiness. He tried to call Mia, his fingers trembling as he dialed her number. It rang and rang, each unanswered ring a hammer blow to his hope. Finally, the call went to voicemail. He tried texting, pouring out his regret and remorse in a desperate plea for forgiveness. But the messages remained unread, the blue bubbles mocking him with their silence. He wanted to explain, to justify, to somehow rewind time and undo the damage he had caused. But he knew deep down that it was too late. He thought of Mia at the lake, the pain etched on her face as she hurled the pendant into the water. The image haunted him, a constant reminder of his cruelty. He had shattered their world, and he didn't know how to put it back together. Back at the apartment, Mia methodically began canceling their joint memberships. The gym, the streaming services, the wine club they had joined with such enthusiasm. Each cancellation felt like another nail in the coffin of their relationship. She changed her bank account details, removing Alex's name from the shared account. With each task, a small piece of their shared history was erased, replaced by a growing sense of resolve. She found herself staring at an old photo album, filled with pictures of their happier days. There they were, young and carefree, their eyes shining with love and optimism. A pang of longing shot through her, but she quickly suppressed it. She couldn't afford to dwell on the past. She had to focus on the future, a future that she now had to build alone. With a trembling hand, she reached for a pair of scissors. One by one, she cut Alex out of the photos, leaving behind empty spaces where his smile used to be. It was a symbolic act, a severing of the ties that still bound her to him. She didn't want to forget him entirely, but she couldn't bear to be constantly reminded of his betrayal. Alex, on the other hand, couldn't bring himself to touch their photo albums. They sat on the shelf, untouched, a testament to a love that was now lost. He found himself drawn to them, wanting to relive those happier moments, but also terrified of the pain they would inevitably bring. He paced around his apartment, restless and agitated. He thought about calling Sarah, but the thought filled him with a sense of disgust. Their connection had been built on lies and deceit, and he knew that it could never be anything real. He had used her as an escape, a temporary distraction from the responsibilities he had been unwilling to face. Mia sat on the floor, surrounded by her packed belongings, and opened her laptop. She began searching for apartments, her fingers flying across the keyboard. She needed a fresh start, a place where she could rebuild her life without the constant reminders of Alex. She found a small, sunny apartment in a different neighborhood, a place that felt like a blank canvas, waiting to be filled with new memories. As she scrolled through the listings, she received a text message from Chloe. "Hey, how are you doing? Want to grab dinner tonight?" A small smile flickered across Mia's face. She typed back a quick reply. "Yes, please. I need to get out of here." That night Mia and Chloe sat at a bustling restaurant, sharing a bottle of wine and a plate of pasta. A storm began to brew over Lake Serenity. The wind howled, whipping the water into a frenzy, and the sky turned a menacing shade of gray. Lightning flashed, illuminating the dark clouds, and thunder rumbled in the distance. The storm mirrored the emotional turmoil that raged within both Mia and Alex. Mia felt a sense of catharsis, a release of the pent-up anger and sadness that had consumed her for days. She knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, but she was determined to heal and rebuild her life. Alex, on the other hand, felt only despair. He sat by the window, watching the rain lash against the glass, and wondered if he would ever find happiness again. He had lost Mia, he had lost his sense of purpose, and he had lost himself in the process. The storm raging outside seemed to echo the chaos within his soul, a tempest of regret and self-loathing. As the storm reached its peak, the rain pounded against the lake, obscuring the surface and swallowing the heart-shaped pendant that lay buried beneath the waves. The pendant, once a symbol of eternal love, was now lost forever, a silent testament to the fragility of promises and the enduring power of heartbreak.